Hello, all you wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. Today I will be talking about, another collection I'm starting pretty much from scratch, just like the other video game collection. This one is going to focus around the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. So, I would say the last 5 days I've been trying to shop around and look on eBay. Originally, I was trying to find a backwards compatible PlayStation 3 bundle. But then I decided to go a different route. As far as video quality goes, it's probably gonna get me about roughly around the same video quality wise. So one of the major reasons I decided to just go with OG PlayStation 2 over the backwards compatible PlayStation 3 is that I heard, not heard, just with how many parts only consoles you've seen go up on eBay and such, like half the listings were for parts only console. So even if I did get a working one, I would have no idea how much longer it was going to last. And so let's just go over with what I have. Before I get to the games, we'll just go with the system. So originally I was shopping on eBay for a bundle of some sorts, and I wasn't finding a bundle that particularly was one that I felt as far as spending money on. And so yesterday I just went out on a shopping trip and just between a few different stores picked and choose just stuff as I came along. Built my own bundle, so to say. So there is a little bit of marks on this, as you can see on this side here. That's whatever this white spot is. It is not coming off, at least not typical scratching. Got a PS1 and a PS2 memory card. Tried to do a quick cleaning of the PlayStation 2 memory card because they're at the bottom. You can see there's a little bit of, I don't know if you want to call it gunk, but definitely something that was able to be scratched off a little bit. I was originally looking for a fat PlayStation 2, but the only fat one I found throughout the day was one that it was not really from, it was kind of a little bit more dusty than I liked it to be, and in all honesty, I just didn't want to particularly give that specific store more money than I was already giving them. There was one particular store that, I don't know, it was just kind of I don't know. I didn't feel like I had that great of a experience there, so. And everything seemed a little bit overpriced, anyways, from there. And the store was just kind of dirty and such, and um, so I ended up picking this one up at a different store. Probably my favorite store that I visited throughout the shopping trip. So as far as video quality wise, the route I went is I obviously went with the OG PS2. They gave me the composite cords, or composite cord. I won't really be using these. In the mail, I have a PS2 component cables coming. Should be arriving tomorrow by HD Retrovision, I believe is the company that makes them. Was a little bit hard to track them down since they're kind of not in production anymore, I don't think. At least not them specific cords. But I also picked up a 5X Pro Retro Tank as well. No information yet on, they haven't shipped that out yet, so I'm still waiting on that. But ideally I'm going to be using component cables into a retro tank into an HDMI out in order to, well, capture footage and to upscale to the retro tank's best ability as far as the 5X version. They do have a retro tank 4K, which is the newest one. I don't know if it hasn't been released yet or if they're just sold out of their first batches. But at any rate, that one was a bit too overpriced for the time that I was shopping for. The 5X Pro was expensive enough at $325. But it's made to be a good upscaler for, well, older stuff like this. But yeah, came with one controller. You obviously have your power brick along with power cord in with the thing. But you guys are probably here more so for the games. And yeah. So, before I get into the games, I don't think there's not particularly like any, I would say, expensive games in here. It's a lot of, I guess, common stuff, or roughly anywhere from $5 to $20. Like, I think $20 is the most I spent on one game. But yeah, we'll go ahead and go through them in just my mindset. We'll go through the PlayStation 1 games first. So we are going to start off with something maybe some of you haven't heard of. I know I've heard of it. I never played this or seen too much gameplay of it, but it's called Speedball 2100 or 2100. So yeah, this is kind of a top-down futuristic sports kind of game. Reminds me of something I played on original Xbox called Death Row. But yeah. This was only like $7.99, I think. is what I paid for it. Then we have Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, because I was a fan of like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. And well, yeah, so this was actually made with the Tony Hawk engine. Sorry, cats are being a little bit weird. But yeah, honestly, this game specifically, I've never owned. But there was a demo on one of the Jetpack demo disc that I had when I was younger, and I played the demo over and over. It was just like a simple, like, 2-minute freestyle run of one of the levels, and that was it. So yeah, that's my only experience with this game, but it's nice to actually own it now, like 20 something years later. Qbert. I think this is more or less along the lines of kind of a, you can call it like a reboot, or more of a, not quite remaster, but it's still Qbert, but it's, well, just, yeah. Apologize for any background noises happening. Alright, we have next on the PlayStation, which I'm kind of excited about this one. I rented this game, but this was on the N64, so this is on the PlayStation 1 version, which I have not played. Rampage World Tour. Oh, by the way, Qbert was only like $10. Same with this one. This one I paid $10 for at Half Price Books. Also, when I was shopping around, there was plenty of games that I wanted to get, but they didn't live up to the condition I wanted them in. For instance, I'm trying to stay away from the greatest hits version and just try to keep in everything black labeled, but I'm also trying to stay away from like missing manuals, cracked cases, and stuff along them lines, trying to get them in the best condition I can find them possible. And if that means I have to pass up on seeing some games that I do want and just get them later when I can, like, get them off eBay or something. But yeah, so this is one I haven't played, but I just know of the series. Driver. This was, if I remember right, Driver, you can't get out of your car on this one. I believe in the sequel they fixed that to kind of compete more along the lines between, well, maybe not, because, well, hang on, we'll get to it. But I eventually just wanted to try out Driver, since I haven't necessarily played it. This was like another $10 game. Actually, both of them were, because I also got Driver 2. This one, I can't remember if I owned or if I just played it when I was younger, but this one you could get out of your car. In some aspects, it does remind me a little bit of Grand Theft Auto. This came out in 2000, so maybe it was, this probably came out before Grand Theft Auto 3. So in that case, that kind of makes what this game did kind of more remarkable, since originally it kind of just reminded me of like Grand Theft Auto. It's also a dual disc, 2-disc game. It also does have the manual, which the two other versions, well, I saw this game like at previous stores that I was shopping at yesterday, and they had the disc, but none of them actually had the manual. Luckily, this one did. So this was probably my most expensive game that, well, most I was charged for buying. But I picked up Cool Borders, one of the early snowboarding games. I like my extreme sports from the PlayStation 1, so I am happy to have this because I played a Cool Borders game at some point along the line, and it will be nice to revisit them. Yeah, that one, for whatever reason, was like $20, so must be a little bit more of a pricier game, I guess. Then I picked up Cool Borders 3, which was only like $10, I think, or something like that. Then probably this last PlayStation 1 I picked up due to it's more of a just having it more for history purpose rather than it being the go-to game in the series that I would play. It's the original WWF SmackDown. So yeah, when I was younger, I played SmackDown 2 for the PlayStation, but I don't think I ever played the first one. But I knew I wanted to get it, and yeah, surely there could be a hour or so of fun from this, but yeah, pretty much the other games, it's a series where each game it got kind of better and better. Now we're getting into the PlayStation 2 stuff. So yeah, that's all the PlayStation 1 games I had currently. We have Activision Anthology. And yeah, so there is absolutely nothing special about this game as far as besides my nostalgia I have for it. So I don't have nostalgia for the games themselves. I was born past the Atari era, so Atari games aren't really my thing. The soundtrack on this game, however, is what I have nostalgia for. I did pick up this game back when I was younger. It works as a compilation of games of old Atari games by Activision. But the soundtrack is what did it for me for this game. So I picked up this just nostalgia purpose. And this is not a great game, but it is a game I played heavily when you don't have a... Well, actually, so this is about out of order. So, I've played Tony Hawk 3 to death. And then we got X Games Skateboarding. I played this to death too. Like when I was done with Tony Hawk, I wanted something more. And so I played X Games Skateboarding. This is actually one of the original, when PlayStation 2 games first came out, some games were put out on a CD format, which is why they got the blue color on the back. But yeah, like I said, this is not a great game. It's functional, and once you get the controls down, there is some fun to be had with this. With as much as I played this, I got pretty good at it. Just I don't know if I can still be good at it, but yeah, I had my fun with it, which that's going to take me right into Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. This was one of my earlier PlayStation 2 titles. Not my first, but I definitely picked it up just because at the time I did not own Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, but I played it at a friend's house. So I was kind of pumped for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. That way I actually had a Tony Hawk game that I actually owned and such. And I was so excited to play it over and over and over. Now, here's a game. This was one of the games that came with my PlayStation 2 when I got it on my birthday. So this was a game I've had from my PlayStation 2 start experience. So I don't have the other game that it came with for my birthday, but I have SmackDown Just Bring It. So this is a fun game. I've had tons of hours of fun with this game. One unique thing about this is it could go up to 8 players, which I can't remember how many the PlayStation 1 versions went up to. It was probably only maybe 6-man matches. I don't know. But this actually had a few match types that went up to eight people in a match. So that I had tons of fun with them hectic matches. But one of the overall better games for single player would be SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. That had a much better story mode than this one had. But both of them had their fair share of unlockables, which was kind of a big feature I was into with gaming at this point. Some of my favorite games just were basically unlock fest type games. Like Smash Brothers and stuff like that. So yeah, this kept me busy for some time. A lot of hours. I was a heavy wrestling fan around this era. So these next 3 games are in a series. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Played a little bit of this recently, but not on the PlayStation 2. So this was the game I owned on the PlayStation 2. Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. This was an awesome game, and it got me into, well, I shouldn't say it got me into the Prince of Persia series, but it definitely kept it on my radar over the years. I enjoyed this game. This was fun for me. I couldn't find all the little unlockable health things. I did not have a good run my first time through, but yeah, that was fun. Never played Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. Kind of want to play through the series. That's why I picked them up on here. Also, this makes me think about, just to mention, I also was kind of selective with the games I'm getting. Um, Obviously, it doesn't make much sense that I picked up these, but there's gonna be specific games that I skip on picking up for the PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 due to them having modern remakes and such. For instance, I purposely skipped the original 3 Crash Bandicoots because they're modern remake, which I do need to pick it up at some point, which I do want to. But the modern remake was good. It wasn't just a simple upscale either. They pretty much remade all the everything. And I know there was a HD trilogy that came out on the PlayStation 3. I personally don't have a PlayStation 3 yet, but I'm not sure. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna go with as far as them. Like, I might pick up some of the old stuff, like for PlayStation 2, if I already have something like running through my PlayStation 2 through the retro tank to upscale the picture. If some of these remakes are mainly just like upscales as far as to make them HD, then I may just pick them up on the PlayStation 2. Like, for instance, I'm probably going to pick up God of War 1 and 2 eventually on the PlayStation 2, instead of just holding out to pick up the collection on PlayStation 3. Because I think they're just high definition upscales as far as remasters go. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand as far as when it comes to what I'm looking to pick up. If there's a decent remake that is better than an original, I'm probably going to skip on picking it up on the original system. So now we'll The Sims. I picked up this. This also might have to do with the nostalgia factor too, but so The Sims plays better on PC, and the first Sims is my favorite anyways. This is not the exact same game. This is actually built differently as far as for the console. It's not the same game as the PC. But one of the things that you could do is you and another person could basically free play at the same time using 2 controllers. So you could both live your life as roommates and stuff. And I just think that was a cool concept and kind of a feature that was kind of missing when it comes to playing on the PC and just other things. So the 2-player mode on this, that's kind of why I hold this version in high regards. I don't know how The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 fare on console, but that's why I like this one. Basically, just for the fact that you could have like 2 players play at the same time and live your life, kind of like you were playing The Sims together. But yeah, that's just awesome. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I'm going to be picking the Grand Theft Auto games up on the PlayStation 2 due to the trilogy being kind of crap that they released. Yes, it was pretty much crap. But yeah, this is one of the games I owned on my original PlayStation 2. And it even has its booklet and map, which is some of the things I'm looking for when collecting for this stuff. Is I'm going to try to get them as complete as necessary. Like, I don't really care for the little, the little survey postcards. I can do without them. I don't need them, but the essentials, like how this came with the map, I want the manual and the map with this, along with the case. So, something I'm taking interest in, and even though I haven't played a game in this series, I picked up Gran Turismo 3, A-Spec. I have never played a Gran Turismo game. I know they're realistic racing sims, but I am interested to see just what is in store, because Gran Turismo has always been on my radar. I just never was really a big racing fan at the time. And I've heard such bad things from the current one, Gran Turismo 7, that I want to try out when it was in its heyday. Which a lot of these games I paid $10 to $15 for, honestly. Gran Turismo 3 was only like $5, and Gran Turismo 4 was around $10, which I picked that up too, but again, I don't really know much about the Gran Turismo games, just gotta try them out. And finally, one of the games I picked up, arguably the most value, though at the time I wasn't thinking anything because I did not find out it was a higher value than what I paid for. Ultimate Spider-Man. I had this game. It was my Spider-Man game for the PS2. I played Spider-Man 2 on the PS2, but I never owned it, so this was my Spider-Man game. It was really neat because they did they made it look really comic. They made the graphics look real comic booky and such. I picked this up at Half Price Books for $10. Apparently, price charting says this game is worth around $40 to be complete in box, which it is. So, that kind of shocked me. It's not often I end up being able to pick up on something that is a terrific deal, and it's one of them instances where I didn't even notice until I was adding it into. I have a little collection app on my phone, and I was scanning all my games into it, and that's when I found out, I paid $10 for this, and it says it's worth $40. Like, what the heck? Somebody priced that wrong at Half Price Books, I guess. But anyways, that is a good note to go out on. I have no way to show you any video footage yet until I get all my equipment in. That will probably be another video. Thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to show you guys what all I picked up and the start to my collection. As I said before, I'm aiming to get, well, complete in box for one, no loose disc, no non-manual CD cases, no greatest hits, all black label. That is what I'm going for. Yeah, I'm being picky, but since I'm going into this basically starting from scratch, I can make them choices early on to where it won't be something that is harder to do to make a choice later on. So yeah, that is going to be that. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Have a great night. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys in the next video.